Hi there, a very good evening and good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. And Simply Stocks and Live in this live session with you all on YouTube. And hope all of you are doing well and you're doing well in your investment and your trading. And hopefully, you're making good amount of money in 2023 because uh, a lot of us could not make much during 2022. So, this is a live session in which I have not informed many of you, but hopefully, majority of you would be watching it later when it gets uploaded, and so you'll get benefit from that as well. So I was not sure about the exact time as to when I'll be online, and that's why I did not put up a feed for that on YouTube as to the time I'll be online. So as I got some half an hour or so. As I got some half an hour or so to spend with you all, so I immediately came online. As you can look, it's extremely cold out here, and one of the coldest days for the last few years. Although the sun is out, but it is extremely cold, and it's about evening, so just taking some protection with respect to that. Uh, do take care of yourself, stay warm, stay safe, and with the pandemic going around, you never know whether it has reached India or not, so kindly be safe with respect to that as well. So today I'll talk about the markets, and I'll also talk about Zomato and the new green energy or clean energy policy, in which 19,000 over 19,000 crore of investment is going in over the next year or so, year and a half. So let's see which are the companies which would be benefited from that. So we'll discuss about that, and I'll answer your queries. So these are the topics at the moment. So what in this session? So basically, I'll wait 4 to 5 minutes for more people to join in. I know it's a Thursday afternoon, so not many people would be online, but still, we'll give around 4 5 minutes for more people to join in. Uh, as far as that is concerned, so let's on a lighter note, let's just discuss about sports, as I used to do earlier as well. So the Australian Open begins in about 11 days time. Big event because Novak Djokovic will be participating in you can say for the first time in I think 3 years, so that will be interesting. uh, Ashok, thanks for your support and contribution. uh, you want one multi-bagger stock like Tanla? Difficult to say, but I'll put up videos. I made one presentation just about yesterday, I think it was. So I'll put up that video in a few days' time. So you'll understand as to whether that could become a multi-bagger. But extremely difficult to find at this point of time. The markets are at had touched new highs and have come back. So in extreme fear, we get more chances of finding 6 7 10 beggars. But I have talked about one stock, and I'll say again, and that is in my portfolio. I've talked about it many times, and that is Kilpest. I believe Kilpest can be 4 5x from here, even from these levels, 3 to 4x over the next 2 3 years. I think there's a huge potential for that stock to perform. If the management does all the things right, I think this stock could end up being a big multi-bagger over the next 5 to 8 years. But definitely from time to time, I'll come up with videos for all of you, not just for members, but for all of you, with some of the stocks that I believe are very undervalued and can give multifold returns. So coming back to the discussion on sports as I was doing. So Australian Open begins in about 10 11 days time. The World Cup of Hockey in India begins in Bhubaneswar and Rourkela, and that begins in about a week's time or so. On the 13th, I think that begins, and it's going to be very interesting because this is for the first time in many years. It feels like India has a genuine chance of winning it, although Australia is a strong, you can say, competitor. But India could be in the semi-finals after many years in a world event, so that would be interesting as well. Javed, walaikum salam. I hope you're doing well. Morning, good evening to you, Mr. Pawar. And so that would be an interesting, you can say, tournament to look at from 13 to 29th of January. We have the T20 international series going on, and India scraped it through by 2 runs in the first encounter. What was heartening to see was that in the 11 there were at least 7 options of bowling that was available. So now we have batsmen who can bowl, that are part of that are part of the team, say Deepak Huda, for instance, Akshar Patel, and some more. So uh, Hardik Pandya included, and many others. So 7 options are pretty good going into the One Day World Cup as well as the T20 World Cup next year. The One Day World Cup begins in about uh, 9-10 months time. So that would be interesting to see how that goes, because Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, and Virat Kohli are not part of T20, but they are part of the One Day setup. So with some One Day internationals, at least 6 coming up in the next few days. Uh, it would be very, very interesting to see how those series go about. So that is something I'm looking forward to, and also the test series that is in March. My prayers are with Rishabh Pant, who was traveling to Uttarakhand to his mother to give her some surprise, and met an accident. I hope he recovers quickly. They are saying 6 months, but I believe it is going to take at least 9 to 12 months for him to get into competitive cricket stream. It would be a touch and go with respect to him playing the One Day World Cup. That's what I feel. And the biggest loss for India is that he would not be part of the uh, test squad that will play against Australia. So very strong. One of the, in fact, the highest run getter for India in test matches last year. So it's a big loss with respect to that, and this series could be very interesting in February and March. Now that Rishabh Pant is not part of the Indian team, so hopefully he recovers quickly. But I think it would be very close with respect to him playing the One Day World Cup. We'll see how that go about. So that is it. The World Cup of football is over, and we have the EPL going on, and Manchester United is surprisingly doing much better. My club Man U is doing much better than what was expected. So let's see how that pans out going into the January season. So that is also something to look forward to. Coming back to the market, so markets declined today. 18,000, around about 18,000 got breached, and now we are below that. I have a feeling that in the next few weeks we could head towards closer to 17,000 rather than going up. So this uh, you can say, whatever range that we were trading at between 18,100 and 18,500, that is getting breached completely. And I will not be surprised that by the time February comes about or budget comes about, we'll be around 17,000, 17,100 on the index. So brace up for that. Those who are invested into the market, those who are invested into stocks, they should just stay invested and have a 2 3 year time frame. And if their companies are good enough, producing 25-30% profit growth with good margins growth, uh, I think that stocks should end up doing very decently well. Those who are trading into the market, keep strict stop losses and then trade into the market. So that's the call there. I believe small caps, as you have asked, Ranjit. So small caps and mid caps should perform this year. It has been a long time since it has happened. Over the last 3 4 months, it has been the larger stocks that have performed. But I think small and mid caps could be 2023 could be their year. So if you are into top quality companies in small and mid cap arena, uh, I think over the next 1 year you're going to make a decent amount of money. That's my call on small and mid cap stocks. So that is my take there. So let's just talk about Zomato once, and then we'll talk about the green energy initiative that India has taken up, the government of India, and how things pan out there. So Zomato, the CTO who had been part of the company for the last 14, 15 years, uh, he has given in his papers, and there have been at least 5 or 6 exits over the last 2 years that the company has seen, and that does not go out well with most of the investors, and that is why we saw the decline on the stock from around 61, 62 levels all the way to 56, and the stock is struggling to go up at the moment, but it is stabilizing around 56. That is what we need to be uh, looking at. Now there are two aspects to it. One is that the management itself weren't doing that great things and making heavy losses, and people were not that happy, those, I mean, stakeholders. uh, Now that some of them have resigned, it could be a double-edged sword for Deepinder Goyal, whether he gets in and gets in some people who are going to change the aspects of Zomato completely, or you're going to see some management coming in and totally uh, ruin the business altogether and taking the stock towards 30, 35. So it's a very difficult call for those who are invested at this point of time. It's a difficult situation for the company. All I can say is that probably if you are invested from a 2 3 year point of view, stay invested. And once a new CTO joins in and other key positions are filled in, um, we will see a rally in the stock, and then probably you can take a call on whether to exit the stock or not. At this point of time, I think there could be some sort of bounce or recovery that could take place in the stock itself. As far as the company is concerned, I think the demand is big, but the problem is the margins, and it is very difficult to keep the margins up or keep Indian consumers happy, and also charge them more, for something that they can probably take home or go to the shop and buy. So uh, kind of a difficult thing to say how the numbers would pan out, but the company need to cut back on their losses and bring the company or the whole revenue and profitability into some sort of profitability. The company has been into losses for many quarters. So uh, if that happens, the stock should head towards 120, 150. If that doesn't happen, we could be seeing the stock around 50, 45 for a longer period of time. uh, Jubilant Foodworks. So similar thing happened in 2016-17 in Jubilant Foodworks, but the new management came in and they completely transformed the kind of business that Jubilant was doing, and we saw it reach new highs. We saw it do extremely well, and after that, over the last year and a half, the stock has declined. But the new management changed the whole scenario of how Dominoes were looked at, and the way the delivery pattern changed and the way people started ordering and all, and the product or the pizzas became much better with the change in management. So a lot of things that the management changed there. uh, Whether that will happen or whether the same things will happen with Zomato or not, we'll have to see in detail, and then we'll realize. Only time will tell. But even Jubilant is feeling the pressure of high raw material cost at the moment. I think Zomato, because of the oil cost, fare for travel and etc., because of high delivery percentages, I think Zomato will feel the heat as well. So numbers are crucial. December numbers need to be very good because the sales have been pretty good this time around in New Year. So we'll see how that pans out, and only then we could probably say as to where Zomato could be headed. At this point of time, looking extremely weak. It looks like it's headed towards 52, and once that is broken, we could see 44, 45 on the stock as well. So that's a call on Zomato. The second point I want to talk to you about is the green energy or clean energy initiative that the government has taken. So around 19,500 crores or so is going to be invested into green energy or clean energy pathways. And these should trickle down to most of the green energy companies that we talk about altogether. So uh, there are many listed. One I have in my portfolio, and that is KPI Green. But there is Adani Green, that is there. There is Orient Green that is listed just recently, and there are many other green energy fuel efficient type of companies which work in this fields that are listed. So, and all these are trading at 40 to 60 to 70 PE. So one has to pick anything that you feel like is undervalued and would command should command higher valuations and should get more orders from government. uh, Difficult to say which one will gain the most from it, but there's one defense stock like MTAR Technology that is in this clean energy space as well, and they boast of a client which is a European client, which is one of the largest clean energy player in the market. So uh, there are stocks that one can look at, but this is going to be a long-term gestation kind of period, kind of a story of 3 4 5 years, minimum 3 years up to 10 years. So 5 to 6 year time frame could be reasonable for this to buy into probably one of these or two of these companies and sit on them. uh, Difficult to say which one, as I said, would benefit the most, but this space looks very interesting now with this investment from the government all together. So we'll see how this pans out, but things are looking up for the clean energy, green energy space as well. All right, guys, so I'm ready to answer your queries. Kindly use the super chat and super sticker feature that will help me grow the channel. That will help you also ask me questions and eke out answers in greater detail. So let's see what are the queries that are coming in at the moment. Okay. So FL 2 years is a decent time frame. I think FL here and on dips can be bought. You have to understand that business of FL relates to uh, advertising, and advertising is directly proportional to how popular a program is or a product is, and how much money these companies have. And with the higher, you can say, chances of recession globally, that is going to be there. Things will be under pressure. FL do work abroad as well, so I think numbers could be under pressure for FL, and that's why the stock is falling already. As I explained, Jubilant Foodworks is something I do like at these levels. 480, 490 could be very decent levels to get into, and probably over the next 2 years it can end up giving you 50 to 60% return, but keep relevant stop losses in whatever stocks you probably take positions in. IT sector, when can we see a recovery there? I feel from March, April onwards, because I think this rate cycle should, you can say, reverse by, say, June or so. So the rally in IT, pharma, and all export-oriented companies should begin from March or so. So that's my call. If you have a 1.5 2 years time frame and you're buying into very decent quality mid cap IT, large cap IT companies, you should not be that worried. Although if you're down 30%, then you'll end up probably making just a little bit of money. But if you are at par, not making heavy losses, I think IT should end up making you decent money over the next 2 years or so. Okay. Infobeans I don't track at the moment, so I won't be able to comment. Uh, so Map My India, there is an issue there. Uh, Now that the stock has fallen so much, I have come to know a little bit that Zomato and other kind of, you can say, businesses will have their own mapping software installed, and they might not be buying from companies like Map My India in for the GPS technology that will be installed, etc. So that is a big hit for something. If that is something that is true, that is a huge hit for Map My India, and their business is going to get curtailed. So it's an avoid at the moment. If you can exit, it would be better to exit. I think Santosh, that is a possibility. Thanks for your contribution. I think NSC listing is also on the priority list of Mr. Dubey. So Hopefully, in the next 12 months or so, we'll see NSE listing, not as Kilpist, but as 3B Black Bio RX or something like that. And it would be listed both on NSE and BSC. Hopefully, these changes come about in the next 6 to 8 months or so. If not, then yes, maximum 12 months, you'll see this happening, and that will give an additional fillip for something like Kilpes, which is trading at only 14-15 times earnings. And if I look at FY23 earnings, next 2 quarter earnings, and estimate that, I think it is trading at no more than 12 times, 11, 12 times, and no more than that at these prices. A disclaimer: I have the stock in my portfolio. So sequent, once the numbers start trickling in, then you buy. So if I was to buy sequent, I'll wait for the results. If results are very good, I'm ready to buy at 110, 120 rather than buying at 80 and then seeing that the results are bad and probably seeing the stock at 60. So I'll wait for the results to get better on sequent and then probably buying into it. NBCC can be accumulated. I think 1 year target in NBCC is close to 50, and probably in 1.5 years to 60 to 65 rupees is possible in the next 18 months. I think this is one stock that is ignored again. Around these levels can be accumulated, but again keep strict stop losses in mind before you take any positions. So InfoEdge, you can probably average here around 37, 3800 if it is possible for you. I don't see greater downside from here on InfoEdge. A pedigree company, top management. It's just that the valuations were stretched, so got declined. Second is that the Nasdaq fell in US, and because of the tech stocks falling in US, we have had a uh, remarkable effect and negative effect on most of the tech stocks here in India, although the business is completely different and they do most of the business here in India. Yet they have got bruised and battered. You look at Nika down 70%, you have Zomato down 80%, and there are many other stocks down 60-70%. So InfoEdge was down 50%, 50-55%. Very good levels to accumulate and hold for the next 2 years. You'll make decent amount of profits in it if you can average at these levels. Okay. I think Vedant Fashions is currently trading at 80-90, growing at 35-40%. I think if the numbers start performing again, the numbers were subdued last quarter. So by subdued, I mean that they were not of the nature of 40-50% growth. It was growth of 30-32%. So that growth has to come back, otherwise the PE will shrink, and that is exactly what is happening. I feel that December numbers hold the key, and I think December numbers should be very decent for the stock to go up. I think uh, this is the best quarter for a company like Vedant Fashion because of the wedding season, etc. So hopefully post September, hopefully post December numbers, the stock should perform. I don't have any view of Engineers India. Now I don't track that stock that much. I would avoid the textile sector altogether. I'm more into a pure consumption space, anything related to direct consumption rather than textile. Santosh, thanks for your contribution. Bought DMart and Hindware 1.5 years ago, but no profit at all. So DMart at around 3800 it is. See, looks good, but then looks stretched as well. In Hindware, I would say that it did go to something like 360, 370 as well. On any declines towards 400, 410, one should keep on accumulating. Again, very undervalued stock. Hopefully, some kind of reversal should happen big time in the stock over the next 2 years or so. DMart, in my opinion, if you have it, just hold on to it. But I don't see massive move in the next 6 months unless numbers dramatically improve. So that's the call. So Preveg, I did see it's a very decent company, high risk, high reward kind of a company. Could be a multi-bagger, but if you can take huge risk, only then buy. Keep stop losses. Otherwise, this can backfire as well. The company is doing well, but we know less about the management. That's the thing because of it being a very small cap company. I think Amber is a complete avoid. I've seen the numbers. Numbers are not good at all. So avoid Amber and Camps as well. The same reason. So I would say completely avoid the logistics sector as well. It gives you pops. It gives you some kind of, you can say, trading moves, but not sustained upside. If you really want to be in logistics, I think Aegis Logistic is something to be looked at rather than buying into any other company. Hold Coal India, Baljit, I think it should end up performing well. Good dividend, and this space altogether is doing well now. So hold at the moment. Okay. Page industry is very decent from long term point of view. No issues. Company is doing well, and hopefully consumption space should do well for the next 3 to 5 years. It's a hold or a buy at these levels. Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot for being online. Please like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so you get my videos straight away when I'm posting. Kindly support me on Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching.